it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior Live. I'll be your host today. Please put in the chat where you're from and who you are. When we start reviewing the news articles, if you want to look at our Facebook page, just click here and you can follow the articles along as we go. See you in a moment. Good morning, good afternoon, or wherever you are. This is Tech for Senior Live. This is Thursday. It is May the 25th, and we'll be with you for the next hour as we go through the news of the week. And we're going to talk about, we have an esteemed panel that I'll introduce in a moment. A little bit less today because Ray's away, but I'll introduce everybody in a second. If you are listening, I want to thank you so much for coming. And if you are new to just your first time on the show today, listening either on our Facebook feed or YouTube, then please put in the comments in the chat. We'd like to give you a big round of applause. We're always interested in new listeners. If you are listening as a either as a on a replay, thank you for watching. And if you are watching this on a YouTube short, just click the link and it will take you right to the show. Now, you're wondering who we are. Well, we're a group of seniors that have a show on Monday called Tech for Senior, and we have a lot of fun with that. And we're now in our 4th year. And if you're interested in coming to the show or watching the show, I'm going to put our Facebook or our this is our website we have. And if you are interested in coming to the show on Monday, it's a Zoom meeting. Now, we do broadcast it over to YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube, or you can watch it or you can come to our Zoom meeting. And the details of the Zoom meeting are on this webpage. Now, for those of you, and I'm looking over now and seeing that there's some people that have logged in to our Monday Zoom account expecting our Thursday show, you're in the wrong place, and we'll see you on Monday, right? This is not a Zoom meeting. It's different than the Monday show. So what you can do is if you go to our, if you're a bit confused on how to get here today, you can go to this website, and there's a big red button there that says take you to the show, and it'll just take you right to the show today. So that's where we are. We have, of course, our show on Monday. It has a lot of different components. It's not just news of the week, and we've been doing it, as I said, for 4 years. Today is a busy show for Huey and I because, of course, not only are we doing this show, but we're doing Learning Chromebooks, which will be in another hour after this show finishes. This is called Learning Chromebooks, and this is the website. This is our actually our Facebook page that we have. If you, again, through our website, you can link into that. You have to register for this, but it's free, and we do it once a month. And I guess, Huey, we've been doing it again for 4 years, right?
Yes, and we've got, well, close to it anyway. But we've got an exciting show today. You've got some really interesting topics, and I'm talking about AI on using it on a Chromebook and some examples, and it's going to be a fun show.
It's going to be lots of interesting things happening. So I'm looking forward to that. And so if you are interested, you can certainly head over to our site here, and you can register and still get into the show. We'll check the registration before we start. Yeah, so that's good. So we're going to have lots of fun. Well, we have lots of news to talk about. There's never a lack of news, but let me introduce everybody. I'm Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. I live in Comox, British Columbia, out on a little island off the west coast of Canada. It's called Vancouver Island, and it's a beautiful sunny day today. It's been a gorgeous week, and of course, my co-host for Monday's show is Huey Poplock, and Huey is from Bradenton, Florida, right, Huey?
Yes, where we finally got some rain yesterday. It's
Really?
been, yes, finally. And then we got some coming today as well.
That's not a hurricane, though. That's not what they call hurricanes, is it, down there?
1 week from today, hurricane season starts.
Oh, really?
Yes,
That's when you get
June
a lot of rain,
June
isn't
1st.
it?
Yep. Oh, well, we during the summer we get it almost every day. Usually by with clockwork, depending on where you are in Florida, it's
Okay.
what hour it hits you. We usually get it sometime in the afternoon. Some places it's earlier, some places it's later. And in Central Florida, it's the winds blow in from the Atlantic and the winds blow in from the Gulf, and when they collide, that's when they get a lot of rain. So that's usually in mid afternoon.
Exactly. So, well, um, we 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 certainly there are parts of the country that sure would like that rain.
Yeah. But
That's for sure.
we've been dry, and it's one of my neighbors said that they were somewhere last week, and they were on a little bit east of here, maybe a couple of miles, and they were on one side of the street and it was raining, on the other side it wasn't, and
Wasn't it?
that's how it gets here in Florida.
One of the things that just before I introduce Bob, of course, we know who we are, but we have no idea who's listening. So if you, one of the things we like you to do is put in the chat where you're from. Maybe if you have any comments, questions, anything about yourself, if you put it in the chat, we'll go through those in just a minute. But we have no idea who's listening, so we could just be sitting here talking to ourselves, which is great. We do that all the time anyway, but we could be. So anyway, if you just put in the chat who you are, maybe where you're from, and give, what's the weather or any comments, that'd be great. Bob is, of course, Bob Gostisha is from Los Lunas, New Mexico. Bob is a security expert, but a man that is a smart guy who actually makes a lot of videos on all sorts of topics, very technology orientated, and he's been with us since day one on the show. He manages our security for the show and is an integral part, does a security news update each week. And we're so lucky to have him with us today. And he was telling us earlier that he's just turning on his air conditioner now. So it must be heating up in Los Lunas, New Mexico. Bob, how the heck are you? Better
You're
unmute
muted.
yourself.
We're finally not going down into the 40s anymore at night. As long
Right.
as that was happening, I was not going to turn on the AC because I still needed some heat at night.
Right.
But it's now looking like every single day it's getting up into the upper 80s, and at night it's staying in the 60s. So it's time to change things over. And here we either have a choice. It's either heat or it's cool. It isn't both in most instances because we still use something called a swamp cooler.
Oh, okay.
It's just a big fan with moisture going through pads. And that's how we cool off the house. We put moisture into the air and cooling all at the same time.
Yeah, we saw a lot of those in Mesa. When I was down in Mesa, we saw a lot of swamp coolers.
Well, in Mesa, you guys changed your own temperature, not temperature, but your own weather by putting in all those swimming pools. And of course, now most people there have to use evaporative air. They can't
Right.
use the swamp cooler.
So, Huey, is there anyone listening to us?
No.
No, no one's listening. Ed, thank you. Oh, Ed's here. Great. Ed, hi, Ed. 60 degrees, sunny in central New Jersey. Gary, nice weather in Victoria. Dick Vogel from Sanford, Florida, 77 degrees and sunny. Bernard, Sterling Heights Computer Club, Detroit, Michigan. Liz Milford from Ohio, sunny, and cool, 57 degrees. Okay. Jean, 54 degrees, sunny. Bob, nice story on Jim Thorpe.
Thank you much. Yeah, if you're keeping up with my video series on Small Town USA, I didn't even know there was such a town as Jim Thorpe in Pennsylvania.
There you go. Bob Baxter from Belleville, Washington, 60 degrees, heading for 75 and then 80 on Friday. Linda from Fort Myers, Florida, 85 degrees. Did Huey lock up?
Yeah, it looks like it, yes. Hopefully he didn't have another power outage.
Yeah, there you are. Are you back or?
I'm back. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. We're having power problems here, I guess.
Ed from Gurney. Now, is this new Ed Wikinski from Gurney, Illinois? Is Ed new?
I've seen his name before. I don't know if it was on Monday's show or this show, but yeah, he's been with us before.
Let's give him I'm going to give you a good welcome just in case that, unless you haven't, we'll give you the big welcome applause. If you have been here before, I'm sorry, I can't remember everybody, but anyway, welcome. All of hi from our home office. We are predicted to get a high of 81 degrees today. My Chrome is wanting to restart to update now or later. Well, wait till after. Wait till later.
Yeah.
Right now.
Whoops. There we go.
And Irving, greetings from Ottawa, Ontario. It's present, sunny, and 51 degrees. Hi, Irving. That's great. And Jolin's here. Great. Jolin from, of course, the low country of South Carolina. Jolin is usually helps us. I think she's going to be there for our Learning Chromebooks. She's a tireless worker that works at her computer club every day. They have a huge club, and she does tech support for everyone, and she's been doing that for years and years and years, all volunteer work. She's a very hardworking person who certainly understands a lot about computers. We learn a lot from Jolin. She's a true techie. She's a true techie. She actually sees these people and actually does help them, right? So that's great. That's good. So welcome. So Jeff says overcast, nice 62 degrees in Long Beach, California. Sally from Kirkland, Washington, cooler weather temporarily. Jeff, Small Towns is very interesting series. Thanks, Bob. Yeah, he's doing a great job with that.
That means some people are watching, Bob.
Yeah, I don't know where Bob went. I don't know where he's gone. Brian, sunny and 60 degrees and rising in Peterborough, Ontario. Brian, that's Peterborough, Ontario is where my daughter went to university, and she met her husband there. And that was a long time ago in Peterborough. So I actually have been to Peterborough, visited her many times at university there. Ivana Stewart, Argyle, Texas, 77 degrees. Jolin, yep, we'll be with you later today. That's great. Thanks.
Did I miss somebody? Did I do Ivana?
Yeah, you got Ivana.
And Ed.
Ed Wikinski, new to this show, 54 degrees. Oh, so I was right. He was new.
Yep.
Well, welcome, Ed. Thank you for coming. That's great. We do appreciate you being here. Hopefully we'll entertain you and you'll have a good time and come back, right? All right. So moving on, we're going to move into the next part now, where we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of articles. Well, one specific article before we get to the news. We'll look at all the articles in a moment that we have on our Facebook page, which all the news articles this week that we think we want to talk about. But there was one theme that came up this week, and it's sort of an issue I like to talk a bit about. And the article was, should you replace your laptop with a mini PC? And this came out this week, and I thought I have some very personal views on this, which I will I will expound on now. And then Huey's going to Huey has a mini PC, and so does Ray actually, but Ray's not here, and so we've got some good choices here now. My take on this, and talking to a lot of people, a lot of particularly seniors who have computers, is people just go out and buy a laptop and they put it on their desk and they have a laptop, and that's what they use as their quote PC, and it never moves. It stays there for 3 years or 4 years until the battery dies, and then they have to go and buy a new laptop. And so I guess the point of the show and the point of this article really is to rethink, do you really need a laptop, or would a PC, or in this case a mini PC, be better, and what are the advantages of that, right? And Huey, you of course, we'll get to you in a second, but let's just see what the article says. So let's talk about mini PCs are excellent value for money. Strip the computer experience down to the barest form and you'll get something resembling a mini PC. So this is something that is something that you can think about, because of course, if you never move your laptop, right, it sits on your desk and you never move, what do you need a laptop for? Plus, you're paying for that battery. You've got a battery that you're powering, and you can't change the battery. So the batteries are going to have a fixed amount of time, but you're paying for it and never using it. Plus, as we get older, what's the biggest problem? We can't see. So we want bigger monitors. So we go plug a big monitor into our laptop, but we're already paying for that little monitor. So if we don't need the battery and we don't need the monitor because we want a bigger monitor, what's the point of buying a laptop? Wouldn't it make more sense to buy a mini PC? What do you think, Huey?
Of course,
But
absolutely.
you own one. You own two of them, don't you?
Well, no, I'm on my second one now. I
Yeah.
replaced one, and this one's about 3 years old now.
Yeah.
But it's not only a value of the money, because mine was expensive. I went with an i5 chip. It's an Intel, and it's made by Intel. Well, the basic the motherboard's made by Intel. It's called a NUC, NUC, and I had an earlier version of NUC that I bought about 9 years ago. No, it was probably closer to 10 now, but it got to be where it just wasn't powerful enough. So I bought this new one about 3 years ago. I have 64 gigabytes of RAM in it, and I have a 4 terabyte SSD card in it. But the really nice thing about it is that there are four little nodules on the back of it that are set up exactly. If you have a monitor that could hang on the wall, it's the same location. So there's a plate that comes with it. You put it on the back of the mini computer, and then you hang it on the back of the the monitor, and you don't have it on your desktop at all. And it's hidden, and all the wires are hidden, but you can get to it by leaning over the back of the monitor.
It's about the size of the palm of your hand, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It's maybe twice the size of two decks of cards wide. Yeah, it's not very big, but you can open it up and actually replace some things in it. Not everything, because most of it's part of the motherboard.
All right. So this article says laptops are portable and convenient, but this comes at a cost. In addition to being more expensive, a laptop often makes for less comfortable computing experience. Bob, you had something to say about that earlier, didn't you? We were talking
Well,
about.
yeah. Number one, if you have one of those mini PCs, you have to supply everything else, because it doesn't come with a
Right.
keyboard, doesn't come with a monitor. Okay. So I personally don't use the keyboard on my laptop. I have an extra one that gets plugged into, because I don't like the keyboard that's on the laptop. But I do have a 17-inch laptop, which is my second screen to go along with the big screen that's plugged into it. So I don't use it as a wasted screen. It's actually my second screen. The other one is a desktop, and that's the one that when I get ready to replace it, that's going to be replaced with a mini because I already have a monitor, I have a keyboard. What do I need a great big monster sitting on my desk?
Hold
Not
on,
that.
hold on. So what you're saying is you don't like the keyboard, and I'm saying I don't like the screen, and Huey's saying he doesn't like the battery. So battery, screen, and keyboard on a laptop we don't like. So what is the point of buying a laptop?
Because I can take my laptop with me. If I
True.
take the mini with me, I also have to take a keyboard with
That's
me
true.
and a monitor. And the monitor quite often is a lot bigger than your laptop because your laptop you just fold it together and you can
True.
carry it.
But in the seniors group, which is what we talk a lot about, most of the people who I see and do tech for, they never move them. They just don't go any. They don't travel with their laptops. It's just they sit on the desk. They buy it, they sit it on the desk. So I'm saying today is keep your options open because it's you may not that this may not be the best thing for you. Let's have a look here. A mini PC could even be better for gaming. As Huey was saying, the Intel's Extreme NUC range, these have full speed, full you can buy with i5, i7, I guess any of the Intel processors you can put in a NUC, right, Huey?
Yeah, and it mentions the full size GPU, which is a graphics a card or a chip, and that's the one thing that I kind of I had a choice of either a smaller hard drive or a smaller SSD card and a better a GPU, and I'm sorry I did that because it's easy to add extra storage space. But as far as the GPU or the graphics card, if you have a faster graphics card, it really it does very well when you're doing videos or gaming.
Right. This is the size. This is your NUC, isn't it? Is that
Yes,
the
absolutely. That's it. That's the
that's
size.
that's the NUC there, yeah.
Yeah, I've
Right.
got some pictures here somewhere of mine open and then closed and then in my hand as well.
So it's interesting. So that was the news article that came out this week, and I thought that was a good one to talk about because I think that seriously you should consider if you are going to replace your computer is to consider either a mini. Well, a mini PC is great, or if you're looking at a Chromebook, remember Chrome boxes are essentially the same thing,
about the same price and
like the
same
same
size.
price, the same
That's
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the same size.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of comments about what we're talking about.
Okay, let's deal with those. Gary says, laptops are king. Don't bring your mini PC to me for help. Vale, good. Vale is, of course, Vale and I fixed a lot of computers together at our computer club in Mesa, Arizona. We're good friends. I personally like the Mac Mini with the M2 chip. Very fast, 27-inch monitor with Retina True Display. Great system, and my 8 terabyte Synology system. Yes, and of course, that brings up the Mac Mini, which of course is like exactly what we're talking about, right? And they have had the Mac Mini for quite a few years now, and it's extremely popular. Indeed, indeed. Very good. All right. Well, did we answer? Maybe we should look at the rest of the questions, then we'll move right into the news.
That's it. That's it.
Is that it? Okay. All right, let's go into the news articles. If you want to follow along, let's just bring that up here. If you want to follow along, this is our Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com, and you just type in Tech for Senior, no S on the end, and you'll find our page. And you can follow the articles along with us. We'll put them on the screen, but sometimes the writing's a little bit small. So if you want to follow along, those are the articles that we'll be talking about today.
Ron, there's one more comment that just came in that I'd like to show.
Clark says, I like the laptop because of the touch screen.
And that's really, my first NUC when I bought it from Smart Computers in the Orlando area, and he put together he had apparently a good price on them. I had a 24-inch touch screen, and then I hung the NUC on the back of it, and I loved it. It finally wore out, and you know what? It's difficult to find any touch screens for as to use as a monitor, and they're expensive.
The other
And
thing
so
is,
I don't have one now,
Yeah.
so I really miss it.
well, the other thing that I really want to, Clark, is I wonder if Clark uses Windows as his touch screen. One of the things it's interesting, and I use on a Chromebook, I can flip it and use it in tablet mode. But I don't know if you guys have tried this, but if you tried a laptop that you flip and use Windows in a tablet mode, it's a real different experience. Like
Yes.
you really have to get your head wrapped around it. I didn't find it a pleasant experience. Everything's different. It doesn't make any sense. The whole thing of the touchy-feely thing for Windows is really weird. And I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but it is not a pleasant experience for me. When I first learned, John says, when I first learned of touchscreens for monitors and laptops, I asked why. But now I have nearly every monitor screen I come in. Now I touch nearly every monitor screen I come in contact. I love touch screen. Be interesting to talk to Jolyn if she uses it for Windows. I mean, that is true, Jolyn, on a Chromebook, but it is such a different experience on a Windows machine. Both
my laptop is a touch screen, but I don't use it. And sometimes if you're not in the habit of using it, you get a piece of lint or something on the screen and you go to reach for it, and oh my goodness, why did I just do that?
Right.
So
Right.
You
have
got
to
to turn it
realize
off to
that
clean the screen.
Yeah,
Now-
when
now
it
I
is
should-
a touch screen,
Yeah.
be careful.
Well, now, sorry, I should rephrase that, and let me clarify that. If you take my laptop that has a touch screen that has Windows 10 on it, and you turn it over into tablet mode, what I'm really talking about is using Windows 10 in tablet mode, and that's the weird experience, right? That's really, sorry, I should have been more clarify that, but that is a very odd experience. Okay. Let's see. Richard says my Chromebook doesn't have a touch screen, right?
He mistyped. Okay.
Screen. Jess says, remember Windows 8 with a touch screen. Indeed. All right. Let's get over and do some. Let's have a look here. We'll come over and share my screen. And let's just see if we can get that a little bit bigger for you guys. Let's see how that works.
Did you refresh?
I think I did.
I don't think you did.
Oh, Bob,
he snuck one in on us.
He snuck one in on us, did he? I thought I was gonna. And I thought I was gonna be first today. Darn it! Anyway,
Look at that.
Look at that. There you go. Well, Bob, go ahead and give us a talk on this.
Well, my videos aren't always just about security. They're about a lot of different topics. And this one is 10 things you didn't know you need to survive the summer heat. And summer is here. It's getting hotter. So take a look at the video. You might get some ideas of how to stay cool this summer.
Do you have a swimming pool?
That's one way. No, I don't have one.
Okay. All right. Let's come down here. Now, I was so relieved to learn today. This was just put this article in this morning. Bob probably knows this because Bob is on it. He gets the insider. He's on the insider program for Windows 11. But Windows 11 to get a force quit button in the task.
Move it up just a little bit. We can't see the bottom of it. There you go.
There you go. Windows 11 to get a force quit button in the taskbar. So instead of having to go to Taskmaster to delete or stop a process, you'll be able to do that right from the taskbar, and there'll be a new button. Yay! Now that
Yeah,
is cool. I like
that's good. Yes, good
I like
addition.
that. Did you know that, Bob? Have you got that on the inside?
It's not there yet.
Okay.
Not if you're on an insider, unless you're using the very risky little test things that they put out there. Eventually, I guess it'll be there. The only thing you can do right now is go to Task Manager with a right click on an empty space on the task
Exactly.
bar.
That's right.
Right.
But
This button is not there yet.
Bob, you were telling me why haven't I on my main machine here gone to Windows 11? We were having that discussion earlier. Bob, this would make me go to an upgrade. This is a feature that I would do it for. All right. So there you go. Now, did you guys see this article? NVIDIA nears the $1 trillion mark in the club of Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, and Amazon. That's how much NVIDIA, their stock went up 30% this week. Amazing company, eh? Like, I thought that's pretty darn good for a graphics company. Not bad at all. Now this is I'm not going to go into this, but I thought this was a good article. I'm not going to go through the 12 things. If you're interested in the 12 things you should stop doing, fine, go ahead and read the article. It's actually a good article, but I was sort of really cool on widgets, right? And widgets really are a killer of resources, and it really will slow down your phone, and particularly widgets on your home screen. And I learned that in this art. One of these 12 things you should be careful of. Don't put a lot of widgets on your home screen. And so that's sort of cool. And so it's a good article. I'm not going to go through the 12 things, but if you want to read the article and go through that, it's a very good article. Now, this is, I wonder if is anyone interested? Apple, as you know, about a year ago, I did a big series on, or maybe it was 2 years ago, did a big series on virtual reality, not with Apple, but with, of course, the Facebook product. And Apple is going to unveil their very expensive VR headset on June the 5th. And so I guess I'm sort of interested in this. I guess the question of this will really be is what will be the practical value of this, and will there be enough interest to sustain, development of products? And that's one of the big problems I found with using VR, was to find something that I was really interested in that made it a game changer for me to use. And I think that's one of the big problems with VR is finding the application that will make it something you really want to use, right? And so this will be very interesting to see, because Microsoft or Apple has put a lot of money into this, and I think they're going to be several $1,000s for this this device. But it as with Apple and Apple Watches and all the good stuff they put out, I'm really interested to see how this plays out. You guys, do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, I've been reading some articles that people are kind of resisting having to put something on their face in order to see. And I am too. It's not something I'm interested in. And they're saying in these articles that people are even resisting wearing glasses that you can see something in them. And I just saw a TED talk on somebody, and I did post it, but I think it's probably way down, about this TED talk. And there's a company called Humane, HU.MA.NE, and they are working on a computer or a system that actually is like a bar that you wear on your shirt, and it's the whole computer. And there may be some parts otherwise in a pocket or something, I don't know, but you talk to it and answers you, and you can hold your hand up and you can see some answers, or you can see some things in your hand. And so there's no screen, there's no glasses, there's nothing else, and you can hear it. And and it's in the works. So this company is actually building this computer. It's still this was their first announcement that they exist, but I think we're going to hear a lot more about that sort of technology, and I think the resistance to wearing things is going to go away, or
Huey,
not going to go away.
what you're talking about is an improved Miss A.
Yes.
So we don't talk a lot about gaming on the show, but I will tell you that Microsoft's Flight Simulator is just an incredible piece of software. And particularly in the last 2 years, or I guess the last maybe 3 or 4 years, when they brought out their latest software development on Flight Simulator, it is truly a realistic experience. Now, you can plug the virtual reality headsets in, and it does make it an almost real experience in flying an airplane. Now you say, I'm not doing that, but my friend is, and he is a pilot and he practices. And I go over to his house and he's got it all set up, and it is truly amazing experience. It is a for sure a very realistic experience. So in that situation, it is for sure something very interesting, and a specific application for that. Anyway, I thought it was just interesting. I think I'm super interested. I'm just trying to find something that will really tickle my fancy and make me really want to do this. But so far, I haven't really found that out. I thought it would be good for exercise and running my stationary bike and getting on it and riding it. But I think I showed you the video that I made about that, and that really didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out. And a lot of it is to do with motion sickness. A lot of people get very, very ill when they put these devices on and try to use them. So there's that part of it as well. But anyway,
yeah, and I've watched a lot of videos where people had them on, and it's so real that they're pushing over their computer, their big TV screen, or they're tripping over tables and so on, because you don't see what's actually in front of you. You see what it's telling you is in front of you.
Well,
I love riding a roller coaster, and I never get sick. But if I'm at a ride where it's simulated, it makes me sicker than a dog. So this is something that would never work for me.
I can tell you, when I first got on it, my stationary bike in VR, and I was riding along following this fella, and he made a right turn to go down the road to the right, and I went straight through onto the highway, right? And I was trying to turn my stationary bike, and ultimately turned it so hard I fell off it. And I thought, I can just imagine going to the hospital with a broken arm, trying to explain to the doctor how I fell off my stationary bike. I thought this was not going to be a good situation. Anyway,
okay, let's look at a few comments, because our discussion has prompted some things.
Okay.
I'm not sure what this is. An air bar? I'm not familiar with it at all.
Does Jolin know? Does Jolin, and maybe Jolin's seen that?
I don't know.
Ivana,
and I'm not sure I don't know if that's what she's talking about here or not.
Ivana says it turns your device into a touch screen. It was invented by a couple of fellows in Sweden a few years ago. Don't know anything about it.
I'm not sure if that's what she's talking about there.
Chris and Jim, Flight Simulator is fun. I've been playing it since the original Flight Simulator. Well, Jim, that's true. And I of course had a huge problem about 15 years ago, because I was in the development and started early on in Flight Simulator, and I spent way too much time on it and got totally addicted to it. It was a really big problem. It's very addictive. I need a better computer to play Flight Sim. But that's where these graphics cards are really great now, the new ones. Vale says NASCAR has a setup using a race simulator that gives the experience of IR racing at real NASCAR. Yeah, NASCAR race. Sure, yep. Instead of flight simulator, you've got the cars. Yeah. Jim says I have experienced nausea in VR. Yeah, yeah. I'm with Bob. Love roller coasters. Oh man, I can't. Yeah. Jolin says haven't used Airbar, but have used another type of the same thing on an older laptop. It was hinky and didn't work quite well.
Okay.
All right. Are we okay? Okay.
Yep.
I'm not going to. This was now. Did that? I should be able to get that a bit bigger. Let's just have a look here. Come back here. Let's see if we can get this a little bit bigger. There we go. I'm not going to go into this. We have talked about this a lot on the show before. This is actually about Google with the passkey and how to sign in with your passkey now. We've discussed that quite a bit on the show. It's a good article. So if you are
if it's available, I suggest you start using it.
Right.
Because it's much more secure than two-factor, and it's a heck of a lot easier. And if you're lucky enough and you're also using Dashlane, they work so well together that all I do is just push a button. I'm totally secure, and I don't have to worry about passkeys anymore.
Passwords.
Passwords, sorry.
Right.
Passwords are becoming passe.
Bob, is Dashlane free?
They have a free version. I don't know whether or not this part works with it. I pay for Dashlane.
You like that? You've left LastPass, and is Dashlane your favorite now?
Dashlane is my default. I still run another one as a backup, but Dashlane is the default. It's what responds to anything as far as input goes.
Okay, good. Huey.
Yes. Microsoft's Build is one of their big shows, and they had several announcements. And this article tells you what they are. Won't go into them, but if you're interested, what's coming from Microsoft, it's very interesting.
Okay. And this is
Google Chrome is getting URL checking, spell checking. Frequently, we misspell something when we're typing in a URL, and it takes us to something we may not want to go to. And now they're going to have a spell checker in and tell you before you click on it that it's you better look to see what you're typing.
For those of us using Avast, it's something they've had for quite some time to make sure you don't misspell and wind up at a rogue site.
Are you talking about it? Are you talking about the Avast browser, or are you talking about the Avast antivirus?
Antivirus.
Okay.
One of the things I like to always mention to people is that it's best if you go to common sites you use, particularly if they're secure sites, is to bookmark them and use the bookmarks to go there. Because if you type in something, it's most likely, as you guys have said, you might do a spelling mistake, and it's just going to catch you and take you to a fake site. But if you have it bookmarked, it's always going to take you to the right place. So bookmark your sites. Oh yeah, my wife said to me as I was coming down to do the show today, she said, "Do you know they're going to stop AM radios on cars?" I said to her,
"They're not."
And that's what Ford backtracks on plans to drop AM radio. So so they're going to change their mind now?
Yeah, apparently there's been a lot of backlash on it. Plus the fact that there is an emergency warning system that only works on AM radios that people aren't going to have. So that was something that the government weighed in on, saying, "Hey, before you do that, think about it."
This is as big a misnomer as one great big company saying we're not going to use Google anymore for our search. You got a contract. You can't get out of a contract unless you want to really pay a fortune. In this case, there are laws involved. And unless you can change those laws, you have no choice. You have to continue with AM radio.
All right. So Ford's having a hard time of it these days.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, that's good. My wife will be happy because she was really upset today, and I said I never listen to AM radio, so what the heck? So anyway, all right. What does Mr. Gates have to say, Huey?
He said whoever cracks the AI assistant uh, will reshape the industry. So Microsoft's working on it, Amazon's working on it, Google's working on it, and there's some new companies working on it as well. So that the things like Miss A and the Google Assistant and so on, they're not using AI, and they should be, because what you're asking Chat GPT are things that you should be able to ask your assistant and get answers for, and it's not happening.
Huey, we're a quarter two. Do we have any more? Should we catch up? This is usually the time where we catch up on any further before Bob. This is Bob's article. Before we get to Bob, is there anything we need to have a look at?
Well, I'm not sure
Any
if we
comments?
ended with this or not, but
I'm with Bob. Love roller coasters. I think we saw that.
yeah, okay.
Jollins, no, we saw that. I've flown flight over Ron's house. Well, also the snowbirds do it as well, and they were here practicing all week, and they use my house because it's got a big white roof on top of it to line up for the runway. So I get all those guys going over my house all the time, and what a racket it makes. So it's nice to know Jim's going over there as well in Flight Simulator. I hope he's not making a lot of noise.
He's going to try to land on your roof.
Yeah, land on my roof. I complained to the base commander once, and he said, "We use your house as a beacon." I thought, what? All right. Whose is this? Bob, this is your article.
A rising trend of phishing on IPFs, which is Interplanetary File System. It's a new file system that's coming out. You need to be careful because it's being exploited, and it's making phishing easier for those people once you're using that file system. This is something posted in the Avast blog, and if you're interested, take a look at it.
Is this file system going to be on Macs and PCs, or just one or the other?
Yes, it'll be universal.
So, Bob, tell us about your series you're doing. I think this is really great, and I think good for you for doing this. I think it'll be a legacy for you. It'll be really great. Can you just tell people what you're doing?
I live long enough, right? I am picking 10 small towns or villages from each of the 50 states in the order in which the states became a state, and passing along information of how they affected U.S. history. So if you're a big city, forget it, you'll never show up. But if you're a small town in any of the 50 states, you have a shot of eventually having your state become a part of this series, as did Jim Thorpe, PA. That's the last one that I added.
Mhm.
I finished Delaware. I'm now in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Well done, Bob. Well done. This is, and when again, we talk a lot about this. This is just a good article. What is Passkey and how does it work? So if you sort of saying, what are you guys talking about? Good article. Just go there and click on that, and it's a good one to talk about. Microsoft pledges to watermark AI images in videos so that we know what is created by AI. Good thing or bad thing? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's a good thing.
Yep, I agree with you.
So
you didn't make it, so somebody else did. In this case, it was AI. Why not give it the credit?
Okay. Yeah, I thought interesting. So that's coming up. Oh, I put this in there to remind everybody that in an hour's time we'll be doing learning Chromebooks, right? But remember, Huey, this, I don't know if you saw this article. This is NVIDIA creating a specific video card for Chromebooks. I thought this is really interesting. And that all comes into the expanding role of Chromebooks and particularly even using them for gaming, right? And so this
Yeah.
is going to make things a lot easier to do. So I thought that was interesting, coming for Chromebooks. So we'll be watching for that, eh?
Yeah.
Also
And that,
realize that adding this is going to make your Chromebooks more expensive,
It
but you're
is.
going to be able to do a whole lot more on them.
Yeah. Any comments, Huey? We should maybe show this on our. That might be a topic of discussion for the Learning Chromebook series, eh?
yeah, but it's coming. So what do you show?
Yeah, I guess.
Right. Not here yet.
Not here yet. Okay. Oh yeah, this is cool. Now I haven't got this yet. Have you guys seen this? Google rolls
I
out
haven't seen it yet.
side. Have you got it?
No.
This is a new side panel for customizing your Chrome browser. Have you? I haven't. I don't have it yet. Bob, do you have it yet?
Unless you're a business customer, you're not likely to get it.
I didn't read
Because
the art.
that's
I
what
read the
they're
article.
talking about.
I didn't see the business part of it.
I don't like changing and personalizing my windows and now the Google screen. And the reason why is I help so many people. I try to stay generic.
Right.
And so if someone says, yeah, I'm having trouble, I can see probably what they're saying because they haven't done anything
If
with
anyone,
this as well.
yeah, if anyone has this, if they could just put in the chat that that they're using it, it'd be nice to know. There's been a lot of articles about this the last couple of days. There's a lot
It's
of.
not available yet, Ron.
It's not. Nobody's got it.
This is another one of those coming.
Coming. All right. This was Microsoft announces Windows Copilot and AI personal assistant for Windows 11.
Yeah, that's one of the things that they announced at the Microsoft gathering, and it's the AI that's going to be part of Windows, is going to be part of all of the Microsoft Office, which is now it's called Microsoft 365. It all is together, but you're going to have AI built into not only Windows but all of the Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Everything's going to have AI in it. So those of you who struggle with those office things and office programs and don't use them a lot, there's going to be something more added. And those of you who are experts at it are going to have to learn something new.
Also realize that ChatGPT has a limit on the information that it can accurately give you, which is September of 2021. By joining with Bing, that updates the information. And Bard, which is Google's answer to ChatGPT, already utilizes current data. So if you right now expect ChatGPT to give you information about who won the World Series recently, you're not going to get an accurate answer because it's not part of its information. It has to rely on something else, and that would be the Bing search.
Which
Good
leads
point,
right
Bob.
into this next story.
Yep.
So the next story that comes up is Microsoft and OpenAI forge an alliance. Bing integration powers ChatGPT in battle against Google.
Google's Bard utilizes current information as part of its database.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if we're going to get to the
knowledge
article.
base.
I don't know if we're going to get to the article, and somebody posted, I don't think it was me, that Samsung has rethought switching from Google to Bing as their default search engine because Bing is, or not Bing, but the Google Bard is doing such a good job.
As long as it's using Chrome for its operating system, you can't. You have to stick with as its default. Customers can go in and change their search engine, but the default on the phone has to be by default Google's search engine.
So this was an interesting article in that, as you know, you can use AI on a smartphone. In fact, ChatGPT now has an app only for an iPhone. It hasn't come to Android yet, but ChatGPT makes its debut as a smartphone app on iPhones. So if you have an Android phone, you'll need to use it through the browser, which of course will work. But yeah, do you have Huey, you have an iPhone? Did you try this yet, or
No, I haven't.
that'd be a good one?
I don't. I haven't turned on the iPhone in a while
Yeah,
because
but
I have a Samsung that I use.
okay, but that's sort of cool in that it has
And then as a reminder for the learning Chromebooks, I'm going to show how you use ChatGPT
on a
using the
Chromebook.
browser, but using it on a Chromebook.
Right. Would this work? Maybe someone can answer that in the chat. Would this work on an iPad? Is it a different app than on a phone? Will a phone app work on an iPad?
Some of them do, but they have trouble with the sizing, and
So
sometimes it just doesn't let them work. So I don't.
if anyone uses the Chat GPT app on an iPhone, well, I don't know the answer to that. So if you know the answer, maybe you put it in the chat for us.
If you're in a browser, it wouldn't make any difference.
That's true. And this, I'm always been a fan of the Fire tablets, and Amazon is coming out with a new tablet, again, a much bigger one. So have a look at this if you are interested in tablets. These are often very good value for your very good value. I know Gail has a tablet that I got a couple of years ago. Unbelievable low price. And they work very well. So anyway, they just brought out a brand new one. So have a look at that. If you're in the tablet market, consider them. All right. Yeah, this was interesting. Let's look at the article.
It's another cable TV
That's
company
right.
shutting down
Yeah.
its TV service.
Yeah. Last week we learned that the cable TV company Wow would be shutting down its TV summer service this year, and it'll be replacing it with YouTube TV. Exactly what I said. And we're seeing this happen. We're going to be seeing this happening more and more and more. So that's
and not only the cable companies, but the two satellite companies, Dish and DirecTV, are going to streaming, and will probably eventually phase out the.
I just replaced Dish with YouTube TV.
Yep.
Oh, did you?
I kissed Dish goodbye because why should I pay twice as much, even though YouTube TV isn't as cheap as it was when it started. But it's still a whole lot cheaper than Dish.
What's your thoughts, Bob? What do you think? About the same as the actual product, or what are your thoughts?
Quality-wise, as far as the picture goes, I haven't seen any difference. If anything, I think the picture is nicer now than it was when I was getting it from Dish.
Okay.
I do know that I'm seeing some advertisements that I haven't seen in who knows how long, because Dish also controls what ads you see. And I really wasn't very happy with the ones they kept picking for us.
All right. So, okay, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I use YouTube TV as my major service, but I also use a lot of the free ones.
Yeah,
I watch,
me too.
The Pluto TV's got some great channels, as Plex, and there are several others. I've done a couple of videos on it.
And just to let everyone know, I know we have a lot of people listening from Canada. YouTube TV is not available. It's only available in the United States. It's not available outside the United States.
I bet they're working on it to get it done.
They probably are. One of the things about YouTube TV that's so great, of course, is the local programming, right? They have contracts with all the local companies. So YouTube TV has your local programming, which is a big deal. Sarasota Technology Users Group. Huey,
wait a minute. Go back to that.
I like your graphic there.
Yeah, but I moved down because I want to see which one this was. Yes, this is that TED Talk. Computers may disappear. Great, I can get my desk back. But if you watch the video, it's that computer that the guy has on his shirt.
The computer. Oh, this one.
Yes.
Okay.
If you click the link, it'll take you to YouTube, and you'll watch that TED Talk and the guy actually shows it working.
Okay. Good. All right. Well, that's good. Well, you know something.
And we've used up our time.
Now an hour's gone by, but we missed Ray. We must, because I know Ray's going to listen to this, so we do have to say that we missed Ray for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm getting hoarse. I had to talk so much.
All right. Hopefully you had a good holiday. Any comments before we leave?
Yeah, I got to make sure I don't play any of the old ones here.
Geeks on Tour. I did land the plane on the water out front. It was on floats. I hollered to you, but you were probably at Costco.
Yeah.
Ola says, good point, Jim. Ron should have his own parking space at Costco. Vale says, yes, the Chat GPT will work on iPad, Apple Watch. Oh, so the chat. So Jim, so Vale, just to be clear, the Chat GPT app will work on an iPad. Okay, well, that's cool. I'm going to go and try that. I have an iPad. I've told you the story about my iPad. I'm going to go and see if I can load it up and see how that works. Jolin says there are so many out there for viewing possibilities and things that always changing. Hard to keep up with it all.
Yeah, and the best way to try to keep up with it is watch Tech for Senior Live.
That's right.
And Tech for Senior.
Jolin says, good show, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Jolin, for coming. Happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody, and for sure. And I know who Ray will be featuring. Yes. Yep. I know.
I think I guessed it too.
Yeah,
I sent him an email with her name in the topic, and I said, "Is my assumption correct?"
Right, because he hasn't sent me the file yet for the Monday show, so we'll see what. My lips are sealed though. I can't tell anyone. That's a super job. Yeah, thanks a lot. Now listen, everyone, we'll be back in a week's time, and don't forget, we also have our Monday show. We have a big show coming up this Monday for you. And in an hour's time, if you're interested in Chromebooks, you want to learn more about Chromas, come to Learning Chromebooks, right, Huey?
Yes, and I open up the doors on the half hour.
We
got a half hour of talk before it.
All right. Okay, everyone. See you next week.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Good weekend to everyone. Bye-bye.